Hey guys, what's going on? Today is Tuesday, June the 16th. I'm in Shenzhen right now. You can see in my tan, it's like really hot here and it's super nice here. It's like beautiful. I've been to the city briefly. We're actually outside of the downtown of Shenzhen, so it's a little far off from downtown. But it's beautiful nature here. Here I'm actually working in Shenzhen in a hotel. It's beautiful. Let me show you a little bit before we get to the topic. So this is my hotel. I really like the big desk here, like along my workstation here, and this is my bed. So the it stretches pretty far. And this is the outside. Beautiful nature out there, nice sky. All right. So that's from a hotel. So what's going on lately in China? Um, I just spoke to my sister in Germany a couple of days ago, and we spoke about the second outbreak, not second outbreak, that small outbreak in Beijing, where I think initially 38 people got infected, reinfected, and then there's more people on it, like around 40 something cases. And I spoke to my sister about this a little bit, and immediately when I said yeah, we had some outbreak here a little bit, the numbers were in the 38s, and then she immediately said like, oh, that's fake, you can't trust the communists or whatever they say, there's probably a lot more, like thousands of people infected. They lie to you, they're hiding all that stuff. Immediately, like her instant a thought about China was like always like very negative. And plus, my sister's never been to China, never lived in China, so never been to China. So she has this confidence immediately to say like she knows better, about somebody that lives like me, that lives here for over 10 years almost now. I personally tell her that that we have a small outbreak here of, I don't know, 38 people, and then there's like a second day was like 50, maybe around these numbers, and then you have what, 20,000 a day in the U.S., and nobody talks about it like it's normal, and nobody criticizes the U.S. or Europe like when you have, well, Germany still has like what, 7,000 6,000 something cases are still left, and you guys criticize here people in China when they have like, I think by the time they got the reinfection again, it was like the lowest point they got to is like 120. Of course nobody, from Western people don't believe the number because like only their numbers are real. But then yeah, it's gone up a little bit, but then the way they have this confidence and arrogance to claim they know better than somebody that lives here, like anything about China, they know better because they read Western news and stuff, and they're more legit in that terms that they know better basically than anybody. I mean, I don't, I moved here, but I didn't grow up here, so, but so they, at least I've been living here for quite, almost a decade here in China, and I, it made me kind of like I don't know anything about China, but then they never been to China and they know anything better than us. Then at some point I stopped talking. It was like I was just pondering. What is this with these people? When you tell them, immediately they shut you down and say like, oh no, you live in China, nothing is true, must be fake, and they lie to you, and yeah, they're hiding stuff, because it's communist and stuff. This mentality of, instantly you hear about China, Western people. It's like saying, when your neighbors claim to know more, about your family. They say like, oh, I know everything about your wife, your kids and stuff. You don't know anything. even though you're the husband, you don't know anything about your wife, your children. I know better than you, and I know what's wrong, right and wrong for your family. You should do this and stuff. Same thing with their mentality, you know. You don't know anything about China. We know exactly what's going on. You know, this is what's going on. This is right and wrong. You should do this. You know, in China, you should do the same thing like us in the West. You know, that kind of mentality, and that drove me freaking nuts. I mean, the moment she said that, I didn't have any answer. It's just like, okay, you tell me this. Um, and then yeah, I was shocked, to hear from my own sister, So yeah, this little outbreak, just this little outbreak in Beijing is just like the Western media is like really after like this put a smear campaign like instantly like trying to a second wave whatever. There must be like thousands of people being infected and stuff, and the number that the official number that China's giving out is it's probably fake and stuff. That I mean, look at yourself. I mean, you guys have like over 2 million cases, and you still have like what an increase of 20,000 a day, new cases, and then you telling me what to do, like people here what to do, and you doing the right thing. That double standard, is like you see this like on a constant basis in the news, and yeah, it's the same thing with like what happened in Guangzhou, like allegedly there's some kind of racism going on against black people and stuff. Look at your country, what's going on there. Let's be honest. Like, how many like foreigners or black people do you see being beaten up by Chinese people, or like being robbed, or any hate crimes like happening to foreigners? I certainly haven't heard, like, since I'm living here, like foreigners like being attacked by Chinese people. In nature, like Chinese people don't do this. I don't know. But I can tell you another story. If I'm a foreigner in the States or like in Europe, like on not on a daily basis, but then you hear a lot of hate crimes. I see definitely a lot of hate crimes against Asian people in the U.S. And nobody talks about this, but there's a lot of hate crimes from black people against Asian people. Nobody talks about it because nobody dares to talk about this. But it happens all the time. I can find you, because I used to live in Berkeley and Oakland and in that area. I don't want to talk about this because like instantly when you talk about this, Asians being attacked by black people, you get, I have black friends back in the States too. And I made actually, I can tell you this is a very nice story, experience I made with black people. So it was New Year's Eve. I went party in San Francisco, and me and my friends, we got really pissed drunk actually at the New Year's Eve in San Francisco, and we kind of partied like, I don't know, we were all drunk, and then everybody went their own way, and then we partied at 3 a.m. in the morning and stuff, and I couldn't find a ride back to to East Bay. And I was kind of drunk. I didn't know what I was doing. I was kind of desperate to find a ride back to the East Bay. So I just asked a bunch of random people if they can give me a ride, but I didn't even know it was like really dangerous. I wasn't aware about anything. At that time, I was just, gosh, I was just really drunk. And then I just really, at that point, I was asking a lot of random people, hey, can you give me a ride? You guys from East Bay? Can you guys give me a ride back and stuff? So nobody took me. I was like desperate. I mean, I need to go home. I didn't have a place to stay, so I need to go home. And I just asked some random people on the streets, and then I finally asked two black dudes, like somewhat older, like in their 40s and 50s. I asked them, hey, you guys going East Bay by chance? Like, yeah, we go. You guys can give me a ride. And they're, I mean, they didn't know who I was, like I could be like gangster or whatever, like, being a criminal, a criminal, and they gave me a ride, and that was like super nice. Like two black older guys, like they were actually not from Berkeley, so they actually took the effort to just give me a ride and then just drop me off where I live. And then they went on to I think they went on to like Pleasant, Walnut Creek. I don't know, like so they it wasn't really like it was a quite not a detour, but then somewhat, they had to like get off the ramp from a freeway and then just drop me off, and then they took off. So that was a really nice experience. And there was another experience I had with like when I came off from a Guns N' Roses a concert at the Warfield. Supposed to like start at what 8 p.m. That guy showed up like sometimes at 11 p.m. or like midnight. Axl Rose. And then the concert went on to like what 2 a.m. in the morning. Same thing. I couldn't get a ride back to East Bay, and the earliest bus was at back to the East Bay was like at 5 a.m. in the morning, and then I ran into this black dude and we had a conversation. It was cool. Like, yeah, he needed to go back to East Bay too. So we had a real good conversation. It was like 3 a.m. in the morning at a bus station terminal. And then, we went back to the East Bay in the morning. I had to go work at 8 a.m. in the morning. So I didn't really sleep. And then, like, when I got off work, I ran to the same dude. He's like, yo, what's going on? Yeah, I saw you yesterday. Yeah, oh, cool. So there isn't always, like, bad experience I made with black people. Just, like, regular experience, I made. Just, sometimes it's just shitty experience, sometimes good, But in reality, what happened, like, you have a lot more hate crimes in the U.S. against foreigners, especially Chinese people. I met some Asian ghetto gangsters that were super ghetto. So they drove by with their cars and they yell at each other out. Like, we were just like standing there and they're just trying to like verbally attacking us, like, oh, you want a piece of me, motherfucker, and stuff. And all this, everybody was quiet, but that Asian ghetto dude, that was super ghetto. That guy was like really aggressive and trying to pick up fights. I don't know, like in the middle of the day, like he's driving by with his car and yelling out, like, dude, yeah, you want a piece of me, motherfucker? Yeah. What are you looking at me? Like, fuck you and all that stuff. So that guy was really aggressive. Like, I don't like these ghetto ass people. So anyways, that's a long talk already. So I gotta go. Oh, by the way, we went to downtown actually 2 days. Oh, when first day we came here, went to downtown. It was a little far off. Took like an hour to get to the city center, and I stopped by at Daniel Dumbrill's brew pub. But unfortunately, I didn't run into him. It would be great to have a little conversation with him. It was a Sunday night. I guess he wasn't the most busiest time. I guess he wouldn't show up. But it was unfortunately. But the hotel is really far from the city. That's why. Otherwise, I would have tried again and see if he wants to meet up. But I didn't get to meet him. So. Maybe next time we'll ever get back to Shenzhen. Guys, what's going on? I'm actually at the taps here at the Daniel Dumbrill's brew pub here in Shenzhen in Nanshan. Actually, we took a cab actually almost like for an hour. It's like, I don't know, it's like 40 kilometers away or like 45 kilometers all the way to visit his brew pub taps here. So I don't think I'm gonna run into him, but he's rarely here. So let's see. So let me show you, flip this around. So here we go. He's like taps brew pub. So yeah, let's go in and see. It's gonna be. I'm gonna meet up with a friend here. So this is his place here. Now we're gonna settle here. So let's take a look at the menu here. We got some interesting actually beer here, like actually orange green tea lager. That sounds really good. I think most likely I'm gonna try that. But I like Hefeweizen a lot too. Berliner Weisse, sour, but that sounds kind of weird. Golden Ale. Oh, this is like, I think he has something with his tea thing. Puer Ale. It's interesting. Cucumber, Saison. Nitro. I don't like IPAs. Like too bitter. What else? Yeah, I'm gonna try the orange green tea lager maybe.